that's the problem right there. You don't care because it don't fit your narrative. If I am at a 21, if I am at an 18 plus spot, 21-year-old plus spot, I don't need to have discernment about the people that's supposed to be here. That's a little girl putting herself in a grown person's position. When I'm at the spot and I'm trying to knock something down for one night, I don't know what the name is. Everyone here supposed to be 21.
Jas Noelle is taking the position that Tukay and Illasophical like underage girls because they had a conversation and asked the question, should we hold underage teenagers accountable for putting themselves in a position in adult environments to meet older men? Now, this conversation was about young girls being in 21 and up clubs and men not necessarily knowing that they are young girls.
Yes, I do not, and I absolutely do not appreciate the jacket that you have been putting on me. And I can't speak for Illasophical, but I'm pretty sure he's not happy about that neither. All right, you got two combined lines for 7 hours, insinuating that we pedos in every sense of the word, but you just didn't say the word. So how did you come to this thought and skip over all of the disclaimers that we literally got with us saying like we wouldn't do this, or you just doing a simple background check and understanding that we are not perverts, so this can't be in line with what you was trying to paint for us?
So I think your disclaimers become null and void when you consistently try to rationalize the things that you guys are rationalizing. To say, well, I don't think it's right, but it should never be a but. And there were way too many buts for me. At the end of the day, underage girls being with significantly older men, adults, is extremely not okay. And all I heard was, well, there was a time and we used to always see it and they knew what they were doing. That was unacceptable to me. So regardless of what you disclaimed, if you have a but behind that disclaimer, it's null and void. So unfortunately, the things that came out of your mouth put that jacket on you because that's what it sounded like.
No, you don't sound like you don't sound like.
Hold on one second. The way those words and that language landed on my ears and a lot of others was that of it sounded predatory. It sounded like it was making excuses for inappropriate behavior amongst adults and children. And I'm just not with that. So I said what I said. I gave my opinion. I never once called you or that other man anything.
You don't have to. You insinuated the whole time.
Hey.
Y'all gonna. I'm just gonna allow y'all to see what they said when it gets to it. Now I've been following for the past few days, going back and forth to see how Jas Noelle see it and see how 2K see it. Now, they're on two different sides of the spectrum on the same conversation. You know what I'm saying? But they're not understanding where each other are coming from. And to be quite honest, neither is wrong. But I think Jas, the way she's going about it on painting them in a way that they like this behavior, I think that's unfair. But we're gonna get into it because I understand exactly what 2K is saying when as being a man though. I understand and I will explain to you why I understand.
Listen, and y'all didn't have to say what y'all said.
Okay.
Unfortunately, y'all saying what y'all said is inferring certain things and landing a certain way to a lot of people.
Okay, so listen, let me help you understand what a podcast is, right? We are literally mining through the conversation. It's not about what the Jas think or what 2K think, and that's law. No. That's not how the conversation wrote.
I never said what I said was wrong.
Yeah, you did.
Let him reply.
Your whole reason for going at me and him is because what you think Jas said is thrown. That's the whole reason. Because, because you just painted me as a pedo for fucking 7 hours. If I wanted to be a pedo, I would have paperwork of touching little girls.
2K, I didn't paint you as anything, sweetheart. If that's how you took it, then hey, sometimes when you say certain things, that's what ends up happening. This is how you get received. What you said
No,
to me was
you
what
you said fuck
might
our
be
disclaimers.
was
That don't mean
problematic.
the disclaimers don't mean shit to Jazz, right?
Not when you have a butt behind them.
Us
No.
telling you this isn't. We don't agree with this behavior. This isn't our behavior. Fuck that. All of that go out the window to Jazz, and the rest of it gets the stick.
Yes, because you spend too little time saying well, I don't agree with
That's not that's not fair though. When you give a disclaimer about a topic at hand that it may be difficult for the viewers, it's not fair to paint these particular speakers or hosts on the views, not even the views, the conversation that they are having. And I always said, even with in dark comedy, when you try to tell these particular distasteful jokes, people will paint you as if you are into the things that you're speaking. You know what I'm saying? So no matter how we go about these particular conversations, when it comes to underage girls talking to older men, it's going to be a group of people believing just because you're having a conversation that that's what you're into. I am putting myself in a position in a line of fire for speaking on this same context, and conversation because I am a man. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be people in my comments saying you agree with that behavior, which is an emphatic lie, right? It's a conversation that needs to be had when we start getting to the details on why and what was said with Tukay and the guy Illasophical. Now, if you choose to just misunderstand because your emotions is wrapped into this conversation, right? Which I don't blame you, but I blame you for putting that jacket on men who are having the conversation and saying, hey, this shit ain't right. But look what this, you know what I'm saying? Look what this 16, 17-year-old young girl is putting herself in a position in these environments, right? We can't just ignore that. We can't ignore it at all. And it's not like we shifting blame because we blaming the grown ass men. The grown ass man is 1000% blame. But if you knew your kid, your daughter, 16, 17-year-old, was being fast, as like we said in the black community, doing things that they don't have no business doing, smoking, you know what I'm saying, skipping school, dating older men, you gonna have something to say to your daughter. That's all is what they expressing. You know what I'm saying? So let's get back into it. You also gonna have something to say to that man. They both are likely to get hands put on them for the behavior and actions. The man because he know better, and a 16, 17-year-old girl because she know better.
with it, but we need to be changing laws because it's not right when these things happen in this way. These little girls know what they're doing. We used to see it all the time. It was normalized. What's the big deal? No.
That's what the disclaimer is for.
You spend more time trying to rationalize the bullshit and spend too much of a little time saying, well, that ain't me though. But no.
Jazz, no, that's what the disclaimer is for. Okay, listen, I do not agree with what Boston Richie did. That's the disclaimer. I don't have to say.
That should be it.
No, that's not it. We're trying to have a conversation about the matter at hand. A big conversation that people don't have, and that's the reason it's continuing to have. You should have more smoke for the ones being silent about it.
So
you trying to punish us for talking about the bad guy. Trying to warn y'all and bring awareness about the bad guy.
I'm sorry, y'all were kind of defending the bad guy.
No. So listen. Okay. So this is what we were saying in this context, right? If the girl is 16, cosplaying as a grown woman, we should stop. And she's in the club. We're not talking about the creepy ass niggas that's hanging out the high school. We talking about the grown woman that's at the 21+ year old club. We need to.
And this is why I don't. This is where I don't think Jazz is understanding. Jazz is taking it from this particular instance, this particular place. She's taking it and broadening the ideal, right? She's not sticking on the thought that Tukay and Illasophical are saying. If a 16, 17-year-old girl, let me give you an example. I stay in Houston. It's very easy to get fake IDs in Houston. We have a large Hispanic population, you know what I'm saying, that may or may not have their papers, and they know how to get documentation to make it seem like they are citizens. In the same sense, when I was in high school, mind you, I graduated in 2014. There were young girls, 16, 17 years old, going to dance at these strip clubs. Going to dance at these strip clubs. The only reason I know, because I was the 18-year-old, 19-year-old taking a 17-year-old. We both doing illegal shit. They put me on game to do this illegal shit so they can go get some goddamn money. I was a young, dumb teenager, just like she was a young, dumb teenager. Yeah, you say at 18, 19, you are an adult, but that doesn't qualify you mentally to think like one. So we'll make dumbass decisions like adults would and put ourselves in positions that we should be held accountable for. This is not something new, bro. This is not something new. And the thing about it, the 16-year-old, 17-year-old, when I was 18, 19, they were the ones putting me on game. Oh, this how we do this. This how we do that. Mind you, I was always, at least in 1 or 2 honor classes, always intelligent and had a critical thinking mind. You feel me? I'll tell you another story. At 15, I caught my first case because I was selling inside school, and I knew better. I did a year in juvie, right? I didn't cry. I didn't ask the judge for less time. I didn't bicker about it because I knew at 15 years old, I knew what I was doing. I was well aware of the consequences. And the reward was the money. The consequences were I'm gonna get expelled, which I did, and I might go to jail. Luckily, I was young enough that they didn't charge me as an adult. You feel me? So we're not gonna act like at particular ages just because it's a girl, they don't know what they're doing. You know exactly what you're doing. Now you might not be able to rationalize. You know what I'm saying? And make the best decision, but you still made a decision. And 2K and them are speaking strictly about the clubs. We're not talking about the whole scope of it. Just strictly as at the clubs. Why are the young girls sneaking in these clubs where grown men are, expecting us to know if they are a young girl or not? If you 16, 17-year-old, you got a fake ID coming into a 21 and up club, as a man, I'm not thinking children are inside this club. I'm just not. And that's what he's trying to hit on. And Jas is not understanding that.
Start holding her accountable as well as her parents. All of this was said in the video. You crossed all over that to get back to the narrative that we agree with this behavior.
Well, when you say things like, we need to hold her accountable when the adult was fully aware that she was underage and still pursued her, is unacceptable to me. And then after that incident with that young lady, he continues to reach out to 15-year-old girls. The guy's a predator.
I did listen.
Hold on, 2K.
No excuses, and a minor in that situation is never at fault. I don't care how you spin it. Being in the club or not, yes. At that point, yes. Go and hold them parents accountable. Go and hold them and make sure you got a better tie on your child. But even if that child is in an adult space, and these adults know that that's a child, which Boston Richie did, which a lot of these men do, they still go and pursue and continue to pursue. It's unacceptable. I would never concede to any of it.
And the crazy thing about it, they said it's unacceptable. But when you start having the conversation, which he about to have, it's just like, Jas, they agree with you. We most definitely agree with you. But Jas, you want us to cut the conversation there. Oh, don't talk about nothing else. That should be it. That's not how that works. It don't even work like that in the real world.
Bruh, okay, so listen. Then what you telling us, right? She don't know no better. Hold on, wait, no. I'm talking.
Let me just
She
finish
don't.
real quick.
Hold on, Jazz. Let him reply.
She don't know no better when she's complicit. And when she's in the place cosplaying as a grown woman and she getting the money and she trying to extort the nigga every time something go wrong, she don't know no better then, right? That's what you telling me? Because it's never a problem until he cheated.
You can't get extorted if you're not messing with us.
Y'all know how I like to do. I like to ask the white man's AI on the black woman's internet about these particular things. Are there any cases where teenagers extorted adults?
Yes, there have been cases where teenagers extorted adults. For example, in June 2025, an 18-year-old in Connecticut was arrested for trying to blackmail adult women with explicit images. In April 2026, a group of suspects aged 17 to 20 in France were involved in a crypto ransom kidnapping plot against a magistrate and her mother. And in February 2026, a Pennsylvania high school senior faced felony counts for orchestrating a sextortion scheme. These cases show that teenagers can be involved in extortion of adults, though it remains relatively rare.
Can we continue? From 17 to 20, right? So is it possible that 16-year-old can be just as, I guess, criminally savvy? That mean they know better. You know what I'm saying? Depending on what case it is. Even if it's rare though. You know what I'm saying? We know this, man, in the black community, bro. We know. I done seen it happen. We wondering why the chick at school leaving for lunch, older dude, he probably already in goddamn college. He on his third year. He's 21 years old. She's 17. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like this shit happen, bro. It happens, and it's a hard conversation to stomach when there's men saying it happens. When you want to ignore that, this shit happen, bro. We most definitely believe in protecting the children over here, 1000%. But as a conscious child, don't put yourself in positions, don't matter what it is that would be detrimental to your life. And that's a parenting flaw. Could be a society flaw. You know what I'm saying?
Playing Jazz.
Jazz, extortion is extortion. It don't matter their age, okay?
You can't get.
Yes, you can.
Jazz, hold on. I'm gonna put a time on y'all.
No, bro, hold on.
Wait, gotta let him land his plane now.
Jay, listen, bro. I'm tired of us going back and forth. We just have to recognize that our community has fast ass little girls. And that some of these times, it's not always a nigga who out here seeking these young girls. If you in a spot full of grown men dressed like a grown woman, that's a problem. Do you not think that?
Oh my God. Listen, what I think is that the adult is always the more mature, responsible one. So even if there are underage girls around you, use your grown-ass discernment to make better decisions and not allow some 16-year-old to trick you. She can't cosplay that hard. Are you asking the right questions? Are you making sure you setting boundaries off the bat? Or are you just thinking with your lust and your dick and drawing off of her body and saying, well, she was in the club with me and she had that little dress on and I was just so confused. You're the leaders of society.
My G.
You should know how to move. You should know how to move in all spaces, but when it comes to women, you get all confused and all soft and putty and shit like
that. If I'm in the club and they ideas saying only 21 and up, which most clubs are 21 and up, I go to 25 and up. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm in a club and there's a woman in this club, I have the expectations of that woman being 21 and up. Is that an ignorant expectation? This is what he's trying to say. Right? But now, since I know women will lie, I might go, but then the ID might be fake. It's a tricky situation. But we saying is those rare times that's not so rare where these little girls, these little 17-year-olds be in these 21 and up clubs, even 18-year-olds being in 21 and up clubs should have some type of level of consequences. That's all the nigga saying. Jazz thinking we're gonna be able to decipher all the time in an environment where they're supposed to be grown women. That's a child. It's not realistic though, dog. It ain't. Now if you go to a goddamn playground or you out in the open world, not a 21 and up club, then yeah, you need to have way more discernment. You need to ask questions. You know what I'm saying? I get that if that's the scenario in the place. Jazz is ignoring all of that, bro. She ignoring that.
At the end of the day, it is always up to the adult. I'm not saying that it is okay. It's never okay for a child to be in it, but we're not even, these girls being in clubs is just one example. One example. These things are happening more so outside of the clubs because 16-year-olds are not at the club in abundance. Does it happen? But that is not the majority of 16-year-old teenage girls. It is not. But at the same time, a lot of 16-year-old teenage girls end up dealing with grown-ass men without having to meet them at the club. So as a grown-ass adult, whether you're a man or a woman, you're supposed to have the knowledge and understanding and the discernment to leave kids alone. If a kid is approaching you
Okay, Jazz, let him respond.
See, okay, you giving us all these intangibles to try to figure out a person, right? Listen, time out. If I'm at a spot.
I don't care where you at, gang.
Listen, that's the problem right there. You don't care because it don't fit your narrative. If I am at a 21, if I am at an 18 plus spot,
and a man with a logical mind, a woman with a logical mind, know what Jas Noelle is saying is an absolute fact. But she's arguing against what they are saying specifically, though.
21-year-old plus spot. I don't need to have discernment about the people that's supposed to be here. That's a little girl putting herself in a grown person's position. When I'm at the spot and I'm trying to knock something down for one night, I don't give a fuck what her name is. Everyone here supposed to be 21.
You keep talking about this club, Tukay. I'm talking about the inappropriate, because y'all also say old ass niggas was picking up girls at the high school.
That's a fact.
Okay, so it's not just about being in no club. Fuck the club. Even when you're at the club, there is something that gives an inkling that the girl that you are finding attractive may be super young. There's something because you're an adult. You're an adult. I'm not finna sit here and act like that y'all just so dumb and can't tell when it's a young girl
Okay, so here we go.
Adult space. Trying to be grown.
Hold on, so time out.
So this girl right here came on the Shade Stream, right? And her
this girl right here, she was at the crib for down there 8 hours. You can't tell. She got everything the grown woman would have on. Makeup, nails, weave, all of the above. They pull up in a car. If the girl didn't slip up and her friend didn't slip up and say her age, you would be calling him a pervert too. That's not in the club. So I'm supposed to have this secret discernment and just know.
What did I just look at? What was that? I don't even.
A video where he called a girl real time, one of her friends, and said something about her age. And then but if the girl didn't say that, his discernment didn't go off. All these intangibles didn't go off. How was he supposed to know?
How old is that boy?
He not her age.
What was her age?
I think she was 16, 17. And she looked like a grown woman.
Okay, yeah. Inappropriate, absolutely. But once he realized her age, did he?
You know how many cases that is with these streamers having to kick these young girls out? It's been plenty of cases. Like, you're blending in with the grown women. You're dressing the same. You're having the same, I guess, lingo. You feel me? Then it's at this point, you just gotta ask for IDs, my nigga. Like, hey, how you doing? Can I see your ID? She can look 50 years old, might be 17. Like, it's fucked up. Sometimes you just cannot tell, bro. And me saying that, I will get a little bit backlash. So you can't tell between. Sometimes you can't, bro. Sometimes you niggas don't even know if you looking at a woman or not. Let alone the age. You gotta look at them knuckles. you gotta look at them knuckles, boy. You feel me? God damn, but nah, you have to be very, very cautious. Cause what Jas Noelle saying, you're not wrong, but you're taking it out of the context of what they are talking about. You feel me? And it would be weird for me to go on. Well, I wouldn't even know no fucking underage girls, but like, if I'm like, well, how old she is? How old she is? You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe I should do it with somebody famous and type in them when they was. I can't even do that. That's weird. But nah, I'm just saying, bro.
Get her the fuck out of there.
Absolutely. That's what most men do.
So what I'm saying is this: I understand that in these situations, I guess you thought.
I'm gonna say something that might be controversial to fools. Most men are not predators. Oh, hold on. Most black men are not predators, and that's a fact.
She looked older than 16 because of what she was wearing and whatever you.
That's how they usually come. They don't come in with backpacks on and barrettes in their head, or we wouldn't talk to them.
They don't have to have barrettes and backpacks, but y'all still pulling up to schools, picking them up with their books in their hand, with their homework on their way to school.
And listen,
so you're trying to conflate situations where a girl is going out. A girl is at a club where she has to get dressed up, to fit in that environment. Yes, it's inappropriate. No, I'm not condoning underage girls trying to be around old ass men.
No.
However, you keep saying just because these particular girls get dressed up to look like grown women to go to the club, that we shouldn't keep accountable the adults in the situation that entertain these young girls, even after they know. And a lot of times they know and they still never said that.
But Jas, what me and Philosophical was saying was, once again, you threw our disclaimer out for your narrative. Me and Philosophical both agree with you on these stances. But because we was trying to do a podcast and give you the breakdown of how people think about this shit, we are wrong. Again, and then you tried to nail us to the fucking cross.
Hold on, Jas. Let him land his plane.
No, she got it. You tried to nail us to the cross about us critically thinking about the situation. That is.
Jas, hold on, Jas. Let him land his plane.
Let her talk, bro. Let her talk.
All right, go ahead.
There's no critical thinking when it comes to inappropriate relationships to underage girls. I understand in some cases. See, the conversation y'all had was a lot.
If it wasn't any critical thinking, then more men would just, you know what I'm saying, have relationships with underage. Like, it's definitely critical thinking. Cause you just wanted them to have discernment on pointing out the underage girl in the 21 and up club that she shouldn't be in. So Jas, it's absolutely critical thinking that goes into these things. It's like you're defeating your argument. We understand what you're saying, but do you understand what they are saying? Right? Do you understand? You can't understand because you ain't a man, and you will never be put in these positions where you have to critically think about these things. It's just blame the man. Y'all should know. Nah, it doesn't work like that. I wish we all had a discernment about all type of things. You feel me? You have to have a discernment over this conversation a little bit better. Because I was like, I know these two might go on the internet and express they love for underage girls. That's how it came across. Like, that's how you was pushing it. Like, I'm like, dang, that's crazy. Cause I looked at Jas' video for about 28 minutes. I didn't really just get into it, but I'm like, I see what they saying. I see what she's saying. But the way you was trying to paint it, I would believe Tukay and Illasophical is a pedophile. I would have truly believed that the way you painted it, until I had to start going to look at what they were saying in the context. They had disclaimers. They said we don't agree with this behavior. But let's talk about these particular instances when a young girl put herself in a position to act like she's an adult by going to clubs that's over 21. I don't see how you kind of like conflated that idea for them being like interested into little girls. That's fucked up. That's like one of the worst things you can call somebody. Like if a white man never called me the N-word, I'm calling his ass a pedophile. Like I'm screaming it to the top of my lungs. You know what I'm saying? That's the worst thing you can be as a man. And that's the worst thing you can be called as a man. It's a pedophile.
Talking about one instance, girls being in a club, but Illasophical was also talking about nature and what's natural and what has always been done since historical times, and how our society isn't mature enough to allow underage girls to be with grown-ass men and wet it off to old-ass men. So y'all were speaking about certain situations where a grown man could get caught up because he's in.
Okay, if Illasophical said that, then she has a point of being how she's being, because now it's just like you sitting here talking with a man that believes that, but I have to go see if he actually said that, because the way Jas had painted them at first is just like, well, if you painted them wrong in that sense, you're gonna paint Illasophical wrong in that sense, like real shit.
One particular adult space where there may be underage girls, but outside of that rare occurrence, because it's not all the time where these old ass men are only picking up underage girls in the club. There are times, most of the time, outside of that. And what Illasophical was saying that you was also agreeing with, Tukay, is that this shit is natural. Is that there was a time where society was keeping up with nature and allowing grown-ass men to be with underage girls, and we're just not immature enough anymore. That's the shit that I don't fuck with.
Okay, well, Jas, just because you don't, hold on, Jas, just because you don't like it.
Let her finish, Tukay,
I'm not
please.
done. I'm not done. It's not about me not liking it. It's about y'all.
I was gonna say that too. That comment at the bottom says, was he not speaking facts about history? I think the fact that they were speaking on the subject and saying historical facts, Jas took that to believe that's actually what these two men wanted. You feel me? There was a time where I think Mary in the Bible was like 12 or 15. Like 12 years old or 15. I think it's 15. When the Immaculate Exception happened. She was not a grown woman. Now, if you believe in your Bible, in all its stories, a child was impregnated by God. Now, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I believe that's what it is. When we state these historical things, it's not like we want, well, some men might, but I don't believe these two gentlemen, man, won't that. You know what I'm saying? Especially the dude Illasophical, who works around children, I guess. Right? We not playing that, bro. We don't want that out on our jacket, but then again, you still want to talk about the context, and it's a show. You know what I'm saying? You got to be careful with it, and I thought they wasn't, but I think, hold on.
Trying to find a way to condone that shit and agree with that shit. If y'all would have said that and said that shit wasn't right then and it's not right now, but y'all were trying to make it seem like we need to be at this place again. When you say things,
we weren't trying to make it seem like shit. We would have said, no, this where it needs to be.
Yep. See, that's what she felt. That's how she felt about them talking about it, which is understandable. Yeah, most definitely. If that's why I say it's sensitive. You better make sure you condoning that shit every way through. You know what I'm saying? Because people might interpret it how Jas Noelle interpreted it and believe that since you're talking about this historical fact, you might want that to happen again. I understand that. I understand where she's coming from.
When you said, when he said we're not a mature society to deal with that, what is he saying?
He's saying that.
You're saying, yeah, exactly. What are you agreeing with when he says that? Why are we not a mature society because we don't condone?
Let him respond, Jas.
Okay,
let him respond.
So Jas, basically, okay. So listen, just because you don't like it, you cannot deny the history.
Why don't you not like it?
Hold on, you cannot deny Jas. See, that's why you playing with me right now. Because if I liked it, there will be paperwork to saying that I liked it. So that if I liked it, I would have did it. So you saying that's that backhand shit that I'm talking about. You trying to dress me up as a pedo, asking me why I don't like it, and I have told you I don't rock like that.
Okay, so why are you trying to rationalize things that happen?
I'm not trying to rationalize. It's not Jas. If this nigga,
oh man, I'm gonna let y'all go finish it. I'm gonna definitely let y'all go finish this on their show. I'm about to finish it, but I don't want to just take all the viewership. You feel me? I want to just react to some of it, and y'all go watch it. Y'all see it's right now, 24 minutes left. If you got this far, I'm gonna put it in the description. Y'all go finish it. But I am about to finish it right now. I just ain't gonna do it on screen, so they can get them some ad time. You feel me?